Got a question for you. How many of you here today like to be prepared and ready for things? How many of you today are the type of person that's packed and ready for a trip a week before you're meant to go? How many of you have got all your meals planned out for the next week or longer, and your grocery list is all written up, ready to go for the next 2 weeks of meals? No? Okay.
Keep trying.
How many of you have your cupboard all stocked up with household essentials and you're ready for the next toilet paper shortage?
Yes.
How many of you think ahead and you're ready for whatever may arise? Well, I'm starting to think that the rest of us aren't really ready for much. Now, Michelle, did I get it right that your shopping list is ready and you're ready to go? Is that okay? Okay, that's good. So for the rest of us, we're not really ready for much. In fact, we probably just barely got here today. You packed the night before a trip, you're completely dependent upon Google Maps, and you're living from one toilet paper roll to another. Now, that's a pretty dangerous way to live, but a lot of us live dangerously. We don't pack until almost when it's about time to go. And that's why we take too many things, because we haven't given enough time to think about what we need. So we might need this, and the weather might go this way, and we might need this. And in the end, we pay excess baggage. Or we put too much into our hand luggage, and then we get stopped at the airport as we get on. And they say, we want to weigh your carry-on, which they did in Hobart last year, didn't they? And $70 later, we could take the carry-on on board. But, so we're not completely organised. How's our shopping list, Sharon?
Not happening.
Good. How's our meal plan?
Not good.
I used to work with someone. In fact, John and I have this in common, actually. You might not know it, but we both have had a secretary, if you like, of the same person, and that secretary used to plan her meals out quite religiously and her shopping list. I was quite amazed because I've never lived in a place where anybody's done that much planning for meals and shopping. But she was very prepared.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad you must have experienced that as well.
She was very prepared for me.
She's very prepared for me too. She is a very organised woman. So I'm not that organised. I pretend to be. Actually, I am organised to a point, and then I'm not organised to a point, which sounds a bit silly, but I'm not so organised that everything is prepared for the next 6 months. But then everything, I have a loose planning. We know what we're preaching on for the next 6 months, but the nitty-gritties of it we haven't done. But then there's other things that I procrastinate about and leave to the last minute. But Jesus says that that's not a great idea. He says that, we need to be prepared. We need to be ready. We need to be faithful. And so there are all kinds of people in the world who live at different places along their preparedness spectrum. But no matter where you find yourself today, Jesus has called us to live a faithful and ready life in him as we eagerly await his return. And the wonderful thing is, waiting for Jesus' return is we don't need any toilet paper, and the grocery plans that we've got going, we don't need any of that, because Jesus wants us to focus our energy on the coming kingdom. So our passage today, our main passage today, and there's more in your newsletter, is nestled within a larger section of Luke where Jesus has resolutely set out for Jerusalem. Now, we have preached recently, he's on that journey to Jerusalem. There's a few things that happen on his way to Jerusalem that we've already preached about, already looked at. But it's on his way to the holy city of God. We get numerous teachings and instructions from Jesus intended for both his disciples and for the crowds listening in. And this is the context that today's reading is. So we could divide our passage into two smaller sections. One is focused on having faith, which is verses 32 to 34, and the other one is being focused on being ready, which is 35 to 40. And today we're going to focus on those two, on being ready and faithful. And I should be there. So the first thing is, do not fear. There are some Bible scholars who believe the Bible contains 365 do not fear or do not be afraid commands. Now, of course, 365 is a key number, isn't it? What's 365 about? Days in the year. So, of course, that's the significance that the Bible has a specific command against fear for every day of the year. Our passage today begins in Luke with Jesus saying, "So don't be afraid, little flock, for it gives your Father great happiness to give you the kingdom." He's giving us the kingdom. Right off the bat, we see Jesus' tender encouragement for his disciples, whom he refers to as his little flock. We are his little flock. And interestingly, this is the only term where the word flock is used in the New Testament. But it's the same wording used in Isaiah 40:11, where Isaiah says, "He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will carry the lamb in his arms, holding them close to his heart. He will gently lead the mother sheep with their young." So we know that Jesus is our good shepherd, and we know that we can trust him. And we know that he, like the shepherd described in Psalm 23, will take care of his flock. And we know how Psalm 23 starts off, don't we? "The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength, and he guides me along the right paths, bringing honour to his name." So he lays us down in green meadows, and he leads us beside those very peaceful streams. He renews our strength, and in him we have all we need. In him we are satisfied. And because of these realities, these aren't, fairy stories. These are realities. In addition to the fact that the Father is pleased to give us a kingdom, we see encouragement to let go of all of our material wants and desires in verses 33 and 34. That's a bit hard, isn't it? Jesus tells the disciples to sell off their possessions, give it to the poor. He reminds them to seek heavenly treasure that cannot rust or be stolen. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be. How true is that? The stuff we treasure, that is where our heart will be. If we treasure belongings, that is where our heart will be. That is the thing that we will protect. That is the thing that will focus our mind. There your heart will be. Where is your heart? Where is your treasure today? What things occupy your mind and your energy? And where is your hope for the future? Is it accruing more wealth? Is it accruing more possessions? In his book, Freedom of Simplicity, Finding Harmony in a Complex World, Richard Foster says this: "Jesus Christ and all the writers of the New Testament call us to break free of mammon lust and live in joyous trust. They point us toward a way of living in which everything we have we receive as a gift, and everything we have is cared for by God. And everything we have is available to others when it's right and good. And this reality frames the heart of Christian simplicity. It is the means of liberation and power to do what is right and to overcome the forces of fear and greed. It's interesting to note that there's such a strong connection made between having a multitude of possessions and also being fearful. It may be worth considering that the more things you have to lose, the more opportunity you have to be scared of losing it. So this may be why Jesus' encouragement is to seek the kingdom of heaven and to rid ourselves of fear. And I believe it's also why he spends the next section talking about staying ready. Let's pretend for a moment that you've been given everything you could have ever wanted or possibly imagined. You're an heir to a kingdom of unimaginable riches. And all you have to do is wait patiently for the king of this promised treasure to come and pick you up. Now, this isn't a perfect comparison to what is happening with the kingdom of God, Jesus and the disciples, but it's pretty similar. And Jesus' warning to everyone listening is to remain steady and ready, watchful and awake, ready to receive a kingdom inheritance that cannot be lost. So in Luke 35 to 40, this is what we're looking at the moment. Be dressed for service, Jesus says, and keep your lamps burning. The command is clear and the situation is this. The master of the house is returning and those in the house need to be ready. And if you ever had to wait a long time for something to happen, you know how easy it is to get bored. You get distracted and you even lose interest. Even more so in this situation, as the enemy of your soul doesn't want you to be ready. Satan doesn't want you to be ready for Jesus. So he will distract you. He will cause you to lose interest. Because he only wants your death and destruction. So he has helped create a culture filled with temptation and distractions, all meant to take your focus away from what really matters. So if the enemy can get you staring at your phone, your wallet, or your neighbour's perfectly manicured lawn, we've got a perfectly manicured lawn next door, don't we? More than you're looking to God, then he's already got you headed in the direction that he wants. And believe me when I say that the destination that he wants you to go in does not take you down green pastures, calm waters, or restoration. Satan does not want to take you in that direction. So what do we do in this world of sin? How do we remain faithful and ready